Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sophie King, and today I would like to present my professional portfolio to you. So, first, I'm going to begin with my formal education. I was primarily educated at these two universities, East Carolina University and North Carolina Central University, where I've earned Masters of Science in Information Sciences, Master of Arts in Educational Technology, Master of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics, and two graduate professional certificates, one in e-learning and another one in autism. So, a couple of words about my professional experiences here. So, this were some of my earlier professional experiences. I worked for an IBM corporation as a hardware assembler and tester. I was a bank teller at Bank of America. I worked in several retail establishments in a role of customer service representative, merchandise and sales associate, and I also done some independent contractor slash freelancing work, serving as an interpreter and instructor for Russian and Ukrainian languages. These professional experiences, I consider them very important and valuable in my life because they helped me grow not only professionally, but also as an individual, as a person. It taught me a lot about having a positive attitude no matter what, being self motivated, having a high degree of honesty and integrity, being a strong person, but also be having a comfortable a sense of self confidence. Always continue to learn. Always be on the go and learn something new. So being motivated to grow and learn, having strong work ethics. I consider myself a very adaptable person, and as a leader, I see myself as a servant leader in my community, in the workplace, and even in my professional life. Excuse me, in my personal life too. So, if I had to kind of put myself on a global market in a global society, I feel that things that are necessary to have, I definitely do have. I'm a problem solver. I have an ability to work in a team with a variety of different personalities, and I have great communication skills. So here are some of my recent work experiences. I worked as a simulation learning designer, also worked as an instructional technologist and designer. I've done a lot of assessment, accreditation work, research and statistics. I worked as a clinical lecturer, done a lot of academic advising, test proctoring, and a lot of work with recruitment. So here I'm going to show you several pieces of my work, especially pieces that pertain to my being simulation learning designer, instructional technologist and designer. Yeah, those are the primary areas that I'm going to show. So the first one is going to be my work in building learning simulations, medical simulations. And this was for a company that uses a proprietary software. So this is a patient simulation cases. So normally when a user comes in to do one of the simulations, they are being presented with two patients. Patients have similar medical condition, and they are being presented with visual representation of their faces with a small synopsis of the chief complaint and just a couple of words regarding their demographical information. As we continue within a simulation, we're first going to see patients' basic information within a patient chart. So it's kind of like organized as a patient chart at the hospital with your demographical information, with any prior visits and today's visit, with any tests that have been done in the past. And you can see the expansion of the data right here that can occur. Um, with any diagnoses that are available, and with any medical or perhaps non-medical orders that are available too. So now there's more information as far as the introduction of the patient with more expanded information presented here. Okay. So there's a family and social history too, physical examination notes as well. And so as we proceed further in the simulation, we will be presented with the patient interview.
Okay, thank you. So I had a chance to look at your notes, but can we perhaps start with you telling me in your own words how you've been getting on since we last saw you?
Well, not the best, to be honest. That's why I'm in a little earlier than expected. Actually, couldn't wait anymore, to be honest.
Go on, Amber.
So as we proceed with an interview process, the user will have an opportunity to choose one of the following scenarios. And so this is basically a learning process for them to figure out what would you say to a patient in this situation. Any changes to your mood? For example, if this was picked, let's see what happened in this case.
I would say depressed or anything like that.
Any other symptoms?
Well, breathing through my nose for sure is difficult, but I can't think of anything else right now.
Any headaches, fevers, or chills?
No, none of those.
Any other changes that you can think of?
Okay, so as we're moving forward, we in the next area of tests. So the user has an opportunity to kind of look at the variety of different tests that may be available for this patient. Not all of the tests here are the correct ones because once again, it's a learning experience and it is up to the user to choose the correct test for the patient. Or if they don't choose the correct one, it's okay too. Because they will learn through the process. So this one that was chosen was not really, it's not a necessary test for today. So some informational, some information is being provided here just for the benefit of learning. So what if we chosen the chemistry panel? Same thing, it was an informational test. Let's see if the allergy skin test would be appropriate for this patient. Yes, so this one was actually appropriate and it also provides an immediate feedback to us why it was appropriate. So, you know, we can continue all down a list, but for the sake of time, we're just going to move on to the next area. So the next area is the area of diagnosis. Now that we have interviewed the patient, look at the possible tests that might be chosen for them. Now we want to diagnose them with something. So let's see if that was something with allergies. So of course, okay, so perhaps maybe patient is suffering from this. Well, the system saying that this was not the correct one. Okay, no specific guidance for that. Okay. So same thing for that. So we can just keep on adding and, you know, guessing the diagnosis along the way. And a medical professional who uses this simulation will be more knowledgeable about this condition. So they will be able to do it. Okay, so if not, then they'll move forward if they cannot get it. So when we move into the medical orders where medications will be added, there's a small disclaimer first about the medications because the simulation is trying to be as non-biased as possible and not cater to one specific pharmaceutical company because then it's going to look like we're trying to push that specific drug for that pharmaceutical company. So here are some suggestions to continue or discontinue existing therapies. So there are existing therapies that the patient is on. So yeah, so this was actually an appropriate action, and it tells you, takes you to the next one. So let's see if we continue with that one. All right, so asking for rationale here. So let's go ahead and choose that. Maybe we'll discontinue that one and that one. Close, and then we can go ahead and move on to the next step. So it's asking for something else, but for the sake of time, we're not going to address that area. But this is just to show you, but that the simulation is meant to be interactive, meant to be a learning experience for the user, and this is the whole idea, of how it's being developed and presented to the user. So we can go ahead and correct all of these things that haven't been answered, or if we change our mind, things can be corrected here along the way. And because this is a decision review. So once again, it's asking for the rationale of not prescribing a specific medication. And this is a rationale for something else, for the surgery. And I'm not reading anything, I'm just guessing along the way. So we can move through fairly quickly. So yeah, so once we provided the rationale for doing or not doing specific things, then there's a kind of like a recap on the case, your closing remarks here, and then we can go ahead and continue again. There's a literature review. We can download a copy or we can read the literature review within here. And it will actually, you can click into the actual references here too. Okay, that was about the download. So here's the performance analysis. This area is important for stakeholders and for strategic team within the company. And this is just basically saying, what was missed, what has been done correctly and what not. And as we continue, there's peer statistics. So everyone who has taken this, who has done this simulation before me, there's a data collection going on, right? Just to show the percentage of people who have chosen nasal endoscopy, for example, and allergy skin test. So this information is beneficial for many reasons, especially for the pharmaceutical company that is sponsoring this simulation and for the team within the company. So yes, so here a person would earn the CME credit for completing this. So my next sample is going to be a representation of the learning management system that I work with. So I work with several learning management systems. I work with Moodle, Sakai, Blackboard, Canvas. This example here is going to be example of Blackboard LMS. So throughout my professional career, I've learned that no matter which LMS you're working with, the premises and the final result is basically the same. They all have the same or similar features. The only thing that may be different is the user interface. So of course, we all know about the benefits of the LMS systems. What I do with it is I'm able to create an instructional content. I'm able to take this content and create courses and then integrate these courses into the learning management system. Once in a system, I'm still able to do a lot of manipulation to the content that I created, and I can make it visible, invisible to my user, just do all kinds of stuff with it. So I'm able to communicate with my user through the LMS as well, whether individually or in groups. The users are able to communicate with each other as well, and even work collaboratively through the LMS. There is a lot of data collection that occurs within the LMS too. This data can be analyzed, evaluated. This data can be used for other things like accreditation, for example. And then, of course, we're able to provide the user with the feedback by using the LMS as well. So here I'm going to show you a couple of things that I have or how I work with the one that I frequently use, which is Blackboard. So this was one of my courses that was uploaded to Blackboard LMS. So if we are in the weekly assignments, this is where the majority of the assignments were located. So I'm going to go into one of the folders where I wanted to show you one of the assessments here. So in here I have a midterm exam. As the user enters the midterm, they're going to be able to see all of the questions presented to them. So once again, as a designer, I'm able to manipulate the data and the assessments, behind the scenes. So we have a variety of questions. Some of those questions are pictorial, have pictorial representations. Sometimes, it may be required or maybe more suitable to have video file or audio file or whatnot. Here I have some matching questions, multiple choice, true and false. So the whole point here is to make sure that the user has the best possible experience when it comes to presenting the data. Okay, excuse me. Just trying to get back to the top. So this is perhaps one of the examples that I wanted to bring to your attention. One of the assessments that can be done. And, the way the LMS is set up, there's a grading book here in the background that isn't necessarily visible to the users, here. Well, they can see it in the tools, but I have a different perspective of the grading book where, depending on type of assignment, the grades actually go directly into the grading book. So that would be beneficial. If it's done, if an LMS similar to this is being used for different purposes, for example, in a corporate environment, then perhaps the grading book would not be the same as on academic or collegiate level. It may just have, percentages or pass and fail, criteria and opportunities for user to go ahead and repeat the assessment. So now this is a different type of assessment and provides more collaboration between users. So we have what we call a discussion board here. So where your question is being presented and then your requirements and grading rubric here too. Once you enter this assessment, we are able to get inside. We'll see who has answered already, and sometimes you can arrange it differently. Well, not sometimes, all the time if you want to. So it can be arranged differently where you will not be able to see anybody else's responses until you provide your own first. But this is more of an open, session here. And we don't mind the user, seeing everybody else's responses first. So, well, this was one particular response. And I also wanted to show one more in the Blackboard, that was in my weekly assignments as well. So this was a different type of assessment because what has been done here, there is a software package that has been integrated into the Blackboard. The software belongs to a publisher called Cengage. So students had to work with the software, so it was integrated here. And when a user click on this button here, it will bring them to the software package. And they will be able to observe the task. So I'll show you a small sample.
Group. Click the Form Wizard button.
Okay, so that's just a small sample of what's possible with the LMSs like that, and so a user can observe the task, practice the task, and then apply, right? And at the end, after they completed it, click submit button, and things will be evaluated. So I also have experience working with Adobe and Articulate. So just about worked with all of the applications or almost all of the applications in Adobe, and definitely work with all of the applications in Articulate. So my next sample is to show you a lesson or a training program that was created by Articulate 360, and that was created in Rise. So here's the lesson, and I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to use the preview so you can see from the perspective of the user how the lesson is going to look. So as the user accesses the lesson, they will see the start button. So let's pretend that we are going to begin this course. So if it's being viewed on the computer, this is the view that the user is going to be able to see, okay, with more information following. And here's a video at the end of this lesson. So let's see if it works. Okay, so it looks like it's working. So here's the perspective if the user was using a tablet. And that was the in a portrait view. So same experience the user should have. Let's see if the video is working here. Okay. Okay, so it does. So here's the mobile phone. So this is what the experience is going to look if they're on a different device, and this is the mobile phone. So same. All right, so they can scroll up and down, go all the way to the top and view the lesson. So let's go ahead and come back to the desktop view. So on the desktop view, the user can just be at the end of the lesson and decide that they're going to continue to move on to lesson 2. And so here they have some type of assessment. So let's say that was a quiz. So they read the information, now there's a quiz. And well, yeah, so they actually got everything correct. So if it was done incorrectly, there will be an opportunity for them to retake the quiz. And after that, they will be able to move on to the next section. The next section offers them more information with the extended tabs available for them to read about, you know, some of the features and definitions and whatnot, and then they're able to move on to the next lesson as well. So I wanted you to see one more sample, and so this is from a feature that I've used from the publisher, but it can also be accomplished through the Adobe InDesign. I'd say that well, fortunately and unfortunately. Unfortunately, when I have no money to purchase another license for Adobe, then I know that it's fortunate for me that I'm able to turn to Microsoft and still develop professional looking products. And when I do have license available to me, then I can use Adobe and Articulate and all kinds of other products that are not free. But oftentimes, I do look for free opportunities if otherwise other ones are not available. So here I wanted to show you that this community brochure. It's a community resource brochure that was created in Publisher, but in the past I've created similar projects with InDesign that actually closely resemble, and the process is very similar, to what you do in Publisher. So this was my cover page of the brochure, and so the next page was a page with information about the topic, and this was just resources, right, for the community. And so this was basically my entire brochure here. And 2 more words, if you don't mind, about a couple of interesting points. Some of the additional training that I received was on Quality Matters. And Quality Matters is a gold standard for instructional technologists and designers on how to design effective and successful courses that actually fall within this criteria of what you must have within your course for it to consider to be a quality course. So then I received training on brain-friendly instructional strategies, how students learn best, transparent teaching and learning in online courses, creating a course development action plan, effective feedback on online courses, and so forth, as you can see here. So some of the workshops that I taught, I think were interesting, were and definitely beneficial to me, as as much as it was beneficial to my learners. I hope, right? Sometimes I think that I learn more than I teach someone, and that's a great experience, to feel that way. So I taught some lessons and some workshops on Qualtrics, SoftChalk, Voice over PowerPoint, ensuring digital accessibility, TechSmith Relay, Poll Everywhere. I taught how to use an LMS, how to do a closed captioning and a voice thread. So, and some of the professional presentations that I've done at the conferences, So it was many more. So some key ones, I think I focus more on like health, wellness, nutrition, and digital learning. So those basically like the areas of my expertise and passion. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and have a great afternoon or great morning. Thank you.